If you're like me, you're a polymath. You're someone who has multiple passions, multiple interests. You're a multi-intellectual. You like learning about a lot of subjects. You like bridging those subjects. You're multidisciplinary. You're also multi-creative. You have many artistic pursuits that you like. Me personally, I love to sing. I started recently getting into music, learning piano.
So baby, let's just turn down the lights and close the door. Alright, let's run that one more time. So baby, let's just turn down... Ah, fuck.
I love to write. I love to speak. When it comes to poetry, philosophy, fiction, I like doing a lot of stuff. And I'm sure you're the same way. And so in this video, I want to help you. I want to give you a couple mindsets that have helped me over the last year and a half of my polymath journey. Because I think it's so important that as polymaths, we have the correct mindset. Because we're not specialists. We are not people who can just focus on one thing and run that up for our entire lives. That shit would drive us nuts. I get it. And so we need to stop acting like that. We are not farmers. There are certain people who are farmers. Farmers, they wake up, they have the same routine, they check off the same boxes, they go out to the field, they plow and they till and they plant, and they water. I don't know anything about farming, honestly. But what I do know is that a farmer's day is pretty consistent. His day is pretty average, pretty boring. Not to say it's not like fulfilling or anything. It's just consistent. It's routine. It's the same. And that works for some people. Some people have that. And over an extended period of time, they'll be able to thrive. They'll be able to compound. And that's beautiful. If you're like me, that kind of shit would drive you nuts. You need novelty, spontaneity, adventure. You need risk. You need contrast. I get it. Trust me, bro. I get it. Trust me, bro. We're not farmers. We're hunters. We like to wake up and have no clue what the day is going to bring us. We'll go out into the hunt and we'll have to stay on edge, right? There's so many factors that go into being in the hunt, right? It's your own abilities. It's your teammates' abilities, right? Your fellow hunters' abilities. It's the environment. It's knowing what predators and prey are there. It's the weather. It's maybe there are other tribes around, right? There are so many factors that a hunter has to constantly stay on edge for. And it's actually all of these multiple factors keeping the hunter stimulated that keeps the hunter on his toes at his best. Some people thrive when there's just one thing that they put all their attention on, and then it grows and it explodes. That works for them. But we're not like that. We need a handful of things. And if we have those handful of things, we'll actually perform better than if we just have one or two things. It's kind of nuts, but it's the truth. Let me ask you this. Would Da Vinci be Da Vinci if he didn't excel in art, in science, in engineering, architecture, philosophy? No. Let me ask you this. Do you think Da Vinci's art would have been as amazing, as impactful, as lifelike as it was if this motherfucker didn't go digging up corpses from graves to study anatomy? If Da Vinci wasn't so obsessed with understanding the body so that he could reflect that in his art, would his art would have been as amazing? In my opinion, no. It was Da Vinci's multifaceted perspective, his multifaceted life that made him him. It was the fact that he had all of these multiple facets and skill sets that synthesize together, that weave together, that work together, that made Da Vinci Da Vinci. And so your first mindset, like this is so important. You are not broken. You're a polymath. Stop trying to be a farmer. You're not like one of them. You're not someone who could just go to college for 4 years, sell your soul for the next 40 years, and just be cool with that. No. You want to make art. You want to teach people. You want to be a philosopher. You want to think. You want to introspect. You want to live. You want to have fun. You want to experience what God has have to give you. I'm fully with you, gang. I'm fully there. I'm fully there, like right next to you. Like we're fucking right here today. Stop trying to be a farmer. Stop judging yourself for not being a farmer. You're not one of them, and you shouldn't want to be. Farmers are extremely valuable because having obscene depth and mastery in one facet in one area can be very valuable. Think about a surgeon. Someone who's been studying medicine, who's been practicing surgery for the past 20 years, is going to be a supreme surgeon. And so if you need the best surgeon in the world, then it's probably going to be somebody who's, yeah, been doing this shit for the past 20 years. But what about, let's say, a philosopher? Is the best philosopher somebody who just studies philosophy all day? Fuck no. The best philosopher is the motherfucker who lives all day, who experiences life. And then from that living, from those experiences, from that contrast, from that polarity, they synthesize, they transmute, they alchemize those experiences into teachings, into stories, into wisdom. The best philosophers were always polymaths. Only in the modern era has the polymath and the philosopher kind of been separated. And it's honestly because philosophy lost God. Like with materialism, man. I'm not gonna rant about materialism, but philosophy not having God basically means that philosophy is like only of the mind. There's no spirit of philosophy, or not. There's not no, but modern philosophy is mainly of the mind. It's not of the spirit, and because of that, people think that you could just read and think and not actually live. But it's like, how do you learn anything in life? Living and then learning from your mistakes. Experience. The things that we learn from other people are their experiences. Like, there's two ways to gain wisdom. You either, one, have an experience of hardship that you struggle with and then eventually learn from. That is embodied personal wisdom. And then there's also somebody else goes through some shit, learns about it, and then they teach you, and then it integrates into you. And so it's embodied non-personal wisdom, right? It didn't come from you, it came from them. But maybe because you related to their story, or because their story just impacted you so much emotionally, you were able to integrate their story, their lesson into your body, into your consciousness forever. The best philosopher isn't somebody who just reads philosophy. That's stupid. The best artist, in my opinion, isn't somebody who just studies art. The best artists and the best philosophers are people who live, people who love, people who fight, who fuck, who experience what life is really all about. People who travel, who sing, who dance, who give themselves. People who spend fucking days on benders, right? Seeing, like, what does life really have to give me? When you can search for that with intensity, that's how you know you're in the right place. And the thing is, you've probably been somebody who has been like told, oh, you gotta go to school, or you gotta go to college, and you hear that, and like inside of you, it's just like, ew, no. And I get it, I'm the same way. And it's because that path isn't for you. You're supposed to live and experience life. And then after you live and experience, you're supposed to come, work, synthesize, create, and then share those things. Share your art, share your philosophy. You're not broken. You're a polymath. So stop trying to limit yourself to one thing. That's not who you are. Okay? Alright, lit. So here's the second mindset I need you to adopt. Action first, figure it out later. A lot of people, they want to do something. They get this desire to do something, an intuition to do something. But they don't know how they're going to do it. They don't know all the exact steps. They only know the first step they can take. And so people will try to figure out steps 2 through 10 before taking step 1. Unfortunately, you literally can't figure out steps 2 through 10 until you take step 1. It's just not going to happen. Like, I mean, think about like on a staircase. Now, unless you got like long ass legs like me, right? And you can skip stairs and shit pretty comfortably, you can't just go from like the first step to like the 5th one, can you? Like, I can't even do that with my long ass legs. The most I'm skipping is 2 steps. Right? Well, if we find it hard to physically skip steps, we're going to find it impossible to mentally skip steps. All right? It's not a thing, bro. God only reveals to you what you need in the current moment. And so God is only going to reveal that first step to you. Are you going to take it? Are you going to take the action? You want to sing? Okay, so go practice something right now. You want to write? Write something right now. Like, shit. I started up a new channel yesterday, a relationships channel called Conscious Lovers. And I've been thinking about it for the past couple of weeks, but I've been like, I don't know about having multiple channels. That might not be a great idea. No one's really done this, having like 2 different channels, sending it like to the same school program, blah, blah. Just so many limitations. But on Sunday, I watched this video by Nero where he was talking about how your only limitations are the ones you put on yourself, right? You only have limitations if you believe in them. And so I was just like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. Like at the library the other day, I'm glad I thought about this. Like actually, like at the library yesterday, this was after I recorded and I'd like already made the decision. But I wrote down in my notebook, or my journal rather, my pocket journal. Come on. All right. Can you see that? My handwriting is really bad, so maybe not. Fuck it. It says, lack can't exist in the universe that reflects a God of infinite abundance. Scarcity can't exist. Limitations can't exist in a universe that reflects God's perfect abundance, his infinite abundance. And so, if I believe that the universe reflects God perfectly, which I do, and if I believe God is infinite abundance, that must mean the universe has to be infinite abundance. That must mean that there are no limitations in the universe. And so, the only limitations I have are the ones that my mind puts on. That's what I like to call my no-limit mindset. Since our universe is inherently mental by nature, that means that the only limitations are mental, our limited beliefs. And so our limited beliefs often stop us from taking action, from following our desire, following our intuition. But I find that if you just take action, like yesterday, I just made the channel. I recorded a few videos. I felt so amazing after I made that channel and recorded those videos. I'm like, oh no, this is so aligned. I'm so hyped we're going to be running this shit up. I took action and I'm figuring it out along the way. The thing is, like, when you first have an intuition to start something, you don't know anything about that thing. But you're trying to know everything so that you can be good. But you can't get good because it takes time to get good. And it takes not knowing things, making mistakes so you can learn from those mistakes. But you'll never make those mistakes because you want to be good right now and you don't want to make the mistakes. You see what I'm saying? All this is because you're trying to avoid making mistakes. You're trying to avoid pain. You're trying to avoid failure. You're trying to avoid fucking up. You can't do that. Fucking up is a part of life. In my opinion, fucking up is the best part of life. Because through those fuck ups, we can alchemize them into wisdom. That's pretty lit. And so you should have this mindset that failing is not failure. When you mess up, you're not a failure because of it. You're not a bad person. You're not trash. You're just learning. Failing isn't failure. Failing is feedback. And if you can use that feedback to iterate, to improve, you'll actually get better. You'll get good. You'll get to that place of being at the skill level that you want to be at. But right now, you're not there. Which kind of takes us into our third point, which is general learning to adopt a new mindset or identity and specific learning to address constraints. So like right now, you're at a skill level, which is like pretty bad, right? If you don't do the thing, like let's say you wanna make videos, right? Let's say you wanna make YouTube videos. If you don't have any reps recording YouTube videos, then you're not gonna be good at it, right? You're gonna be bad, and that's okay, right? It's just gonna take practice. Now, when it comes to improving, people's YouTube videos, a lot of people, like I said, they'll start trying to learn. They'll start trying to figure out, oh, how do I make the best YouTube videos? Let me look it up. Instead of actually just recording some fucking YouTube videos. So what you have to do is action first, like I said. And then when you're taking action, once you started taking action, you want to go about learning in two ways. Now, most people just do one thing, which is general learning. And this is bad. Not to say that general learning isn't good, it's actually very useful. But people think that general learning is going to actually help them improve. That's not what it does. General learning doesn't improve your skills. General learning helps you identify as someone with those skills. As you learn from people with the mindsets that they have, you develop those mindsets, they become ingrained into you, and you start adopting the identity that they have. When I first started getting onto self-improvement back in summer of 2023, I was binging Alex and Leah Hormozi's content. Before, like in the first half of 2023, I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur. I didn't even know shit about business. I didn't know anything about business. But eventually, in December, when I was actually making some YouTube videos, I was trying to sell my coaching program, I had this identity of the entrepreneur. There had been so many things that I learned about business. There had been so many things that had been ingrained into me. And because of that, I was moving from that place. Now, just learning about business isn't going to specifically help me improve certain things in my business. But just learning about business is going to help me identify as an entrepreneur. It's going to have me have the mindset of the entrepreneur that I want to be, which is going to help me step into that future version of myself right now. At the end of the day, the mind, the inner world, is where all things start. And so you have to have the mindset of the entrepreneur before you're the successful entrepreneur you want to be. That's why general learning is so powerful. But general learning doesn't help us really improve our skills. This is where specific learning comes in. Specific learning helps us address our constraints. It helps us address the thing that's getting in our way, that's holding us back from making progress. And then after we figure that thing out by specifically learning how to address that, how to tackle that, then we get better. So I've been specifically focusing on my storytelling. That's the main skill I want to focus on for improving my YouTube videos. And I have a book called Storyworthy by Matthew Dix that I'm going through, and I'm trying to basically apply the things that he's teaching me. You see what I'm saying? To improve my videos. That's a way that I'm trying to actually improve. Now I'll give you this final tactic when it comes to actually being able to figure out what you need to improve. It's called VOD reviewing. People do this in sports. People do this in esports. This is a very common thing. You'll rewatch the thing that you've done, and then you'll see how you can improve it. I mean, it's pretty easy. The thing is, when you're in the current, when you're in the experience, it's a lot harder to figure out the mistakes you made just because you're in it, right? Like when you're in the gym, when you're lifting, it's hard to know how good your form is because you're actively focusing on your form. You can't perceive yourself. When I went to the gym on Saturday, or on Sunday rather, I wanted to do some Romanian deadlifts, but I've only done them 2 or 3 times, and so my form is not good. And so I called my dog Jacob, because Jake is super knowledgeable in form, and I call him yo, Coach Jake, I need you to tell me if my RDL form is good, bro. And so I propped my phone up, hit a few for him, and he was like, oh yeah, that's looking good, bro. Were you feeling it in your hamstrings? I'm like, yeah. He was like, say less, you got it. Right? It's if I didn't have Jake, I would have just recorded myself. I would have been able to look at that and then compared it to somebody else's form and then seen the differences and iterate from there. You see what I'm saying? VOD reviewing is about going back and seeing what you previously did from a different perspective so that you can find the things that you made mistakes on, the things you can improve, so that on your next iteration, they can be better. Awesome. The final thing I want to talk to you about is the art of going down rabbit holes. As polymaths, we have this spontaneity that lives in us, this novelty that lives in us. We always want to move somewhere new, right? We're either super obsessed with one thing. Actually, nah. Let me scrap that idea. Let me say this. When we have that desire to learn something new, it is usually like at the forefront of our minds, right? So like for me, let me give you this example. When I got onto my mystical path and I discovered esotericism in April of last year, April of 2024. I spent April through August of 2024, like those 4 months, I basically spent all my time reading, learning, listening, all things religion, philosophy, spirituality, all things. I was just absolutely obsessed. I was studying mystical Christianity, Kabbalah. I was reading the Tao Te Ching. I was studying Hindu, um, tarot, human design, numerology, like so many facets, right? I was just absolutely obsessed. And after that, I haven't really been in a season where I like just want to hardcore study spirituality. Now I've recently gotten to a place where I feel like having a like I've recently gotten to the place where like coming back to Christianity and like going through the Bible and stuff like that, that is definitely intriguing to me. And so like that is a facet of like that's one pursuit I have currently, but that's just one of my pursuits. My other pursuits are my business, so like this channel, and my relationships channel. Other pursuits are my singing, my music production, piano. Other pursuits are boom, chess. So I have a handful, right? My meditation as well. I'm trying to improve like my meditation as well. So I have my pursuits, right? The thing is, more often than not, you have like something where you just have like intense desire for it. So like right now, like that primary thing for me is music, especially singing. And so I want you to have this mindset of like when I feel strong desire for something, I should just follow it, right? Like I have this note here. Stop trying to want something you don't want, lol. Right? Like I told you guys earlier, we're not farmers, we're hunters. We shouldn't want what the farmers have. We shouldn't feel bad that we don't want to go to school. We don't want to sell our soul for the next 30, 40 years. Because that's not who we are. That's not how God made us. And that's okay. In fact, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Stop trying to want something you don't want. If you don't want to learn about this thing, stop. If you don't want to figure that thing out, stop. If you don't care, stop. Life's too short to be giving fucks about things that you don't give a fuck about. It's too short to be attempting to give fucks about something that you don't give a fuck about. It doesn't work like that. Like I'm sorry, you can't control desire. Like you can't manufacture desire. You know what I mean? It's there or it's not. And so the art of going down rabbit holes says that when you have that desire, follow it, baby. Temporarily focus for a short period of time on that thing so that you can permanently gain that knowledge, permanently develop that skill, right? Like, I don't really study like metaphysics much because I don't need to. My metaphysics are pretty good in my opinion, right? My spiritual philosophy is pretty solid. Of course, I have things that I want to build, but my foundation is very good. And so I feel like I don't really need to build on top of it right now because I don't want to. I want to build other things. I want to focus on my art rather than my philosophy. So that's what I'm doing. When you have desire, follow it. Because at the end of the day, your desires are God's desires moving through you. Dishonoring them is dishonoring God. I don't think you want to do that. All right? If you don't know anything about me, my name is Jaden. I'm a mystic, I'm a philosopher, I'm a polymath, I'm a healer. It's my mission to help as many artists as possible live their most free and authentic lives by helping them understand who they truly are, helping them express who they truly are. That's why I'm so passionate about bringing the worlds of art, philosophy, and mysticism here on the channel of the Mystical Polymath. That's why I love talking about love and relationships, dating over on my other channel, Conscious Lovers. So if that mission resonates with you, I'd appreciate if you drop a sub over here to this channel. If you're interested in relationships and dating, go check out my other channel, Conscious Lovers. And when you're ready to take your journey, your artist journey, your inner work journey, your polymath journey to the next level, come join our school program, the Masters of Alchemy. If you like if you like my one-to-one help with navigating that, you can send me a DM on Instagram, first link in the description, all right? Do it today. Be better for it tomorrow. Stay devoted. Stay inspired.